It all begins with a chance encounter in Viridian Forest. Ash comes upon this tiny little Caterpie, and from there he knew that that Pokemon would be his first official capture, and it would become a very special Pokemon to him. Caterpie dreaming of one day evolving into a Butterfree, soaring its wings and being free to fly through the skies, being able to soar upwards towards the moon. From teaching Ash a very important lesson on how to treat Pokemon and never abandon them, to going toe to toe with Misty at the Cerulean Gym, and then falling in love with another pink Butterfree. The adventure was supposed to be at an end, but Butterfree wasn't happy. He didn't want to abandon Ash. He thought back to Viridian Forest, where Ash returned for him. He thought back to Ash rushing back to a sinking ship to get him back. Butterfree refused love. He refused to leave with this pink Butterfree. No matter how pink she was, he yearned for battle. He yearned to be at Ash's side and help him accomplish their dreams together. Butterfree continues his journey with Ash. He leaves most of the big battles to Ash's usual suspects, Bulbasaur, Charizard and of course Pikachu, but he always steps in when needed, helping Ash out with crucial wins during Kanto and Johto. Butterfree has a dream to get stronger, but more so to fly as high as he can, to one day reach the moon itself. But he still feels he needs to get stronger in order to accomplish his dreams. In Ash's battle with Erica in Kanto, Ash, when conflicted over using Primeape, he opts to use Butterfree instead, and he manages to defeat Erica fair and square, no gimmicks, no heroics, all before Team Rocket could interrupt. During Ash's travels in the Whirl Islands, they come across Pudgy Pidgey Isle, where Butterfree meets a small Pidgey who also wishes to fly all the way to the moon. With an emotional journey and the help of Meowth, both of them work together to try and make it as high as possible. Orville keeps going, but Butterfree cannot soar much higher, and it falls back down to Earth. He runs out of breath. This is the first big wake-up call for Butterfree that he needs to get stronger in battle in order to achieve his dreams. He needs more stamina, more wing power, better endurance, and it feels like he can achieve it alongside Ash. As usual, Ash decides to reset his whole team when he heads out to Hoenn, but he brings along Butterfree for the ride, having such a close bond and connection as his first ever captured Pokemon. With Butterfree and Pikachu, he sets out to conquer Hoenn and builds his powerhouse team with the likes of Grovyle and Swellow. After Ash becomes quite strong in Hoenn, he starts to get a little over-reliant on his usual Pokemon, a little bit cocky, and he needs a good old humbling from Elite Four member Drake, who basically teaches him to relax, be more aware of your surroundings, and also Butterfree was starting to notice Ash was getting a bit arrogant in the way he battles, and also felt a little left out. He wasn't getting much battle action at all. Butterfree's worry continues into Sinnoh, where he gets sidelined more and more for Ash's other Pokemon. He sees the likes of Infernape and Weasel dominating Sinnoh, and starts to feel as if he doesn't belong on Ash's team anymore, like he has nothing to offer. He even noticed how well the Elite Four bug specialist Aaron treats all of his bug types, and starts to think back to the early days with Ash. Pikachu, always being that shoulder for comfort, tries to help Butterfree overcome its lack of confidence and disassociation towards Ash's team, but it all seems for nothing when Ash picks Butterfree to go up against the brutal Tobias at the Sinnoh League semi-finals. Watching all of his friends over the course of his journey get swept aside like it's nothing. His best buddies like Swellow and Heracross just getting taken out one by one. The fear that his Darkrai puts into Butterfree is overwhelming. Darkrai putting Butterfree into a dark void and using Dream Eater really sticks with Butterfree, and it's not a battle that he ever wants to remember, although he will. As Ash loses and exits the Sinnoh League, Ash heads for Unova and plans to do the same again, take Pikachu and Butterfree. But something has changed with Butterfree. He seems more shy, anxious, he hides behind Tracy at Oak's lab, almost as if to say, I'm staying here. Ash goes to Unova without Butterfree for the first time. He leaves his old friend behind. Butterfree needs to recover from the PTSD that he's suffering from the Tobias battle, and the build-up of being pushed aside, feeling like he's not good enough. He starts to think about the pink Butterfree. Should he have just left with her all that time ago? He thinks to the dream of one day reaching the moon, the little Pidgey that nearly made it. The downtime at Oak's lab was really good for Butterfree. Finally he can relax and work up its confidence again. He has a few training partners to spar with at the lab, like Swellow, Tracy's Venomoth and Heracross. He starts to build up his battle prowess, his energy, and he's starting to feel more like himself, back to a better place. Ash returns from Unova and Butterfree senses that Ash is also in a better place. He looks more confident, he seems like he's had a giant reset and now he's ready to push forward. Ash offers his arm once again and Butterfree joins Ash's team again. and it's time for them to set off for Kalos. Ash decides to really give Butterfree more of a chance to shine in Kalos, which means he opts against catching another flying type. So in this timeline we have no Noivern, sorry buddy. Ash manages to defeat Viola first try. He matches her Pavilion with his own bug Butterfree, and it overcomes her tricky tactics. Ash gets back to being very confident in Kalos, building up a great team and having the powerhouse Greninja to help him. And also having a prime Butterfree, feeling like he can take down anything. Out of nowhere Ash runs into a very old opponent, and it's Samurai, all the way back from Viridian Forest. Ash is so shocked to see him again, but they remember each other. And Samurai is glad that Ash still has his old friend by his side, remembering the days of when the Beedrill swarm attacked and they were all separated. Samurai reveals that he captured the leader of the Beedrill to stop the swarm from attacking his house, and he reveals that he can Mega Evolve it, impressing Ash. Straight away Ash challenges him to a rematch for old time's sake. We get Butterfree versus Beedrill, but with the power of Mega Evolution, Samurai eases past Butterfree, once again giving Butterfree some doubts over its future. After being back in the team and feeling good, this old foe has come to knock him down. Butterfree wants to get stronger and Ash wonders if there is maybe a Mega Evolution for Butterfree, but to his disappointment nothing like that exists. But Butterfree carries on grinding, training it daily, inspired from Ash and Greninja and their new awesome form. He feels if they could maybe have this bond, then it's only a matter of time before Butterfree can find more power that it wants. In the Kalos League, Ash progresses all the way to the quarterfinals where he comes up against none other than Samurai. Samurai brings out his own Butterfree to take on Ash's. We get a stare down for old time's sake. The crowd confused as hell, but both trainers laugh. Ash's Butterfree manages to win, but once again it wasn't enough to take down the Mega Beedrill that was left for Ash Greninja. Ash gets to the final where he loses to Elan and he heads back home. Ash then heads to Alola for more of a chill lifestyle, settling down and living with Kukui. Butterfree comes along and starts to feel at peace, but also like a lingering wound still haunts him. His whole life has been followed by defeat and heartache. He feels like maybe he made the wrong choice to continue with Ash. What if he just went with that pink Butterfree? He constantly thinks about that. In Alola he's given so much time to think and fly along the Alolan sands. It's peaceful, but it's not enough for Butterfree. One day when visiting the Hokulani Observatory, Butterfree witnesses life itself before his eyes. The Minior who crashed down from space. Their shells crack and then once again they return and disintegrate into nothing. It reminds Butterfree of his own journey, how it broke free of that cocoon so long ago, when he became free to soar the skies. But it makes Butterfree sad how the Minior crumble into nothing. Butterfree leaves Ash. He wants to go on his own journey to find the meaning of life and what's next for him. While Ash is finishing up in Alola, Butterfree adventures the world, discovers new things and reunites with that pink Butterfree that he could have left with, seeing what his life could have been. The two reunite and become friends again. Together they set out for the Galar region, where once again Butterfree sees Ash now competing in the Pokémon World Championships. He remembers the Mega Beedrill, the crushing defeat to Darkrai. He feels like he could make an impact here. He's learned everything he can. He even had a shot at settling down with the pink Butterfree, but nothing was fulfilling him until now. It was time to rejoin Ash and learn how to use Gigantamax. Butterfree just knew that he would be able to master it, and Ash trusted his instinct. The two of them tried it and the giant Butterfree emerged. Ash was ready to track down Samurai and give Butterfree that rematch. We got a clash of Mega Beedrill versus Gigantamax Butterfree, a battle to see who gets into the Masters 8, and after so long of wandering, training and struggling, Butterfree finally gets his revenge. He defeats Samurai and Beedrill and Ash progresses. Ash goes on to take down Leon and become the champion of the world, and even using Butterfree in his ultimate team. The Pokemon that started it all was there to see Ash lift the trophy. He accomplished everything he wanted to with Ash. So once again he sets out as there's just one more thing to do. He sets off with the pink Butterfree again. The two of them fall in love and travel the world flying around with other Butterfree. They revisit places that make him reflect on his journey. He sees the little Pidgey still going strong, still flying upwards. He sees the Minior repeating their beautiful life cycle. He sees Ash polishing his trophy. They bump into a strange Starmie who seems to understand exactly what Butterfree wants. His final goal, to reach the moon. Butterfree sets off with Starmie and he meets a strange man with white hair who's training to go up into space. Both Butterfree accompany him and he finally gets to achieve his dream of going to space, staring up at the giant moon With everything he wanted, his life goals achieved, the two Butterfree leave the shuttle and drift off into space. They see Minior floating happily, and in their final moments they look up at the moon one more time. Butterfree is happy that he had a great life.